Today I'm going to tell you something about international human resource management. But first, some information about me, so you also know who is talking to you. My name is Lena. I also put another picture of me there. I am from Germany and I'm 22 years old. I did my final high school diploma in 2018, and then I was, first of all, really lost what I wanted to study. I always knew I wanted to study something with people. I didn't really want to become a teacher. Then I was thinking more about like the business side, if I should study international business or something into that direction. And then I came across international human resource management, and that is basically what that study does. It connects the people side with the business side. Um, then I was like, okay, well, that's my perfect match. And well, that's how I ended up in the Netherlands. So let me first give you like a small introduction what human resource management actually is. So it is the activities of managing a company's employees, for example, by employing new workers, training them, managing employment records, and helping with them with problems. So I mean, that already says quite a lot. Basically, what I would say HR regards everything that involves employee in an organization. So if an employee has struggles, if the performance is low, if the performance is really good, no matter what, as an HR manager, you will be the person to talk to. Yeah. By the way, guys, if you have any questions, I will also be available in the chat during the presentation. So in case you have any question, feel free to just post them in the chat and I will try to answer them in the meantime. So let's now look more from the actual definition to what we do learn in the study. Well, we learn everything that regards the relationship between human behavior, work, and organizations. Because obviously work is influencing us all a lot, and it will be like a huge part of our lives in the future. It is really important to know how it affects the people in the organization, how the work's actually going. On that note, we also have like a lot of practical things. I also included this small chart here, which says that we have 40% theory and 50% practical and group work, and 10% study career counseling. I will explain later a little bit more on what study career counseling is. Um, but yeah, so we have like the practical skills. So it's not only that we learn the theory, but we will also learn to actually use the theory in practice. So to give you just like a very small example, in first year, you have a course called Professional Communication Skills, where you learn how you have to do a job interview, a performance appraisal, and all these talks that you need to do with your employees. And then we actually had an assessment about where we had to do a job interview with one another. That was really cool and really practical because there you actually see what you learn the knowledge for. Then obviously, as I already hinted towards, HR also includes part of psychology and business. So it's, I would say, a 50-50 mix. And during the study, we also have practical case studies, and we're working together with real companies. And I will name a pretty cool example later of a company that you probably maybe know, hopefully. We will see. So let's move on with the curriculum. Yeah, just gave like a small overview of the different types of courses we have. So we have skill courses, psychology related courses, business related courses, courses for specific HR knowledge, study counseling, and we do also have in the second year the practical quarter. So for like the skill courses, that's, for example, what I just mentioned, the professional communication skills. So These courses are normally quite practical, and we have them on basic communication skills, intercultural communication skills, and professional communication skills. So there you learn how to talk, how to present, how to do interviews with one another. So that is very practical, and also obviously then the assessments are also really practical. Then we do have like the psychology related courses, starting with an introduction of psychology in first year, moving on to organizational behavior, so how the employees behave within an organization, um, and also things like group dynamics, so how do people behave within a group. Next, we do have the business related courses such as leadership, organizational theory, and also some financial courses, so to say, so like financial management, business economics. We do also have a course about international labor law, which is super useful as well. And yeah, and then we do have very HR specific courses. Obviously, the rest of the courses is related to HR too, but there are some courses that are really specific HR knowledge, so I wanted to mention them in an extra box. So the first one would be human talent development. So there you learn how you can develop your talent and how you can develop the talent of your employees. Next, there's also something about job evaluation and reward system, as well as strategic HRM. Obviously, I can't mention all the courses we have here now. So if you want to know more, feel free to check out the website, because there is a lot more information mentioned there. Well, next we do have study counseling. So I already said like that we have something like that. And that is basically you will have a contact person within the university. It's normally also a teacher. And that person is there to help you in case you have struggles. There will be, especially in first year, quite some meetings. Also in first year, it's both group meetings as well as individual meetings. So you really get the support and you never really feel alone. And then in the last quarter of the second year, it starts to get very practical with a practical quarter. And there you have courses with in recruitment, onboarding, a business game, and academic writing. So let's start from the back. I think academic writing is pretty clear. It's about the how to write like a thesis and such, because that's something that you will not need in your fourth year. And then business game, you design a game that can use within business. So for example, if your employees are struggling very much with an issue, and maybe, for example, I think the best example is probably when you start in a new organization and you need to learn how everything works in an organization. You could, for example, use gamification, make an app for the phone, and then have the employees learn it through that app. So that is super cool. And we had to design something like a game. Obviously, we didn't make an entire app, but we made a board game actually. So that was really nice. And then we had also recruitment. And recruitment is something that I'm not going to tell more about right now, because I will talk about the project we did for that a little bit later. So let's move on to already third and fourth year. So you have already managed to get through the first 2 years, and you're now in third year. I'm, by the way, in third year right now. And during third year, everything is getting super practical. So in the first semester, you're working in labs. So that is real projects for companies. So for example, we work together with a Dutch company who is producing glass for buildings, cars, etc. And they had a major problem in the organization, and we helped them solve it. So that's really nice, because they also told us in the end in our last presentation, oh wow, what you presented here is really nice, so we're definitely going to use it for the future. And that is just such a rewarding feeling. So yeah. And then in the second semester of third year, we have a minor on human resource development. And there we have courses such as coaching and conflict management, human resource development, technology and job design. So there you basically gain more in-depth knowledge about everything that you have learned before. But it's not only the knowledge, but you also get to apply it practically. So for example, in human resource development, we have to think about a problem that an organization might face, and then we need to solve it. So we need to come up with an innovative solution and to solve their problem. So yeah. And then in fourth year, you are almost done with your studies. There you can do your internship, or not you can, you have to do your internship. But that's a really nice part because you're allowed to go everywhere in the world. Obviously, right now with Corona, it's a little more difficult, but in general, you are allowed to travel to no matter what country you want to. You can do it back home in Italy, you can do it in the Netherlands, you can also go to South Africa if you want to. So there's no restrictions there as long as you find a company where you can do your internship. So that's really cool. And then in the second part of fourth year, you already write your thesis, and then you have your Bachelor of Arts, and then you're done. So that's it, 4 years, and you have a really cool bachelor, in my opinion. So let's now tell you a little bit about the project that I already hinted to, that we did during our practical quarter. And we did it for Just Eat Takeaway. And I think that you guys might know takeaway.com, or I don't remember if it was called Just Eat in Italy. I don't remember. But that is basically, it's a very big food delivery service, which is actually from Enschede, where Saxion is also located. And we had to help them with their recruitment process because they had some struggles to fill some positions. And then we had to help them to fill these positions by rewriting the job description. And then we also helped them on how they could advertise their jobs. So yeah, that was a really cool project. And that's basically what you start with in the practical quarter. And then third year is very much about practical projects, which is really nice. Well, then I will just quickly go into the job opportunities. So after you're done with your study, you can either become an HR manager, an HR, and a strategic management advisor, which is very similar. You can also become a coach or a trainer, a recruiter, or a talent development manager. So still, most of these jobs, besides the coach, are still within an organization where you're responsible for the people and help them to develop themselves, to do their jobs, to be happy while being at work. And then coaching is something different. So you can also decide to not work in an organization, but work as, for example, a freelancer, and then go to organizations and help them. For example, if you have 2 employees that have conflicts, then you can call in a mediator and to help them solve the conflict. So you can also become a mediator or a coach later on. Well, now we are almost at the end of the presentation, and I really would like to give you a personal advice to see whether you are the perfect candidate for the study. Because obviously the study is not for everyone. And the things that I can tell you is that for that study, it's very important, or rather important, that you are open-minded and that you're interested to not only learn the psychology side, but also a little bit of the business side. Because that is something, a pitfall that several people fall into. They think, oh yeah, it's human resources. I really would like to study psychology, but it's too dry and too theoretical for me. So I go for human resource management. be aware that you also have the business side here. And you don't need to know a lot about business before you go into the study, but you should at least be willing to look into it more and learn it. And obviously, you should like to work with people and be together with other people, because otherwise it might be a little more difficult to do the job later on. And yeah, I honestly have to say, for me personally, it was the perfect choice. I'm really glad I chose the study because I love to work with people, and it gives you so many opportunities afterwards, since it is an international bachelor that is completely English taught. And first of all, that will make your English much better. And then you can also, like, you can work wherever you want in the world, because English is a global language, basically. And yeah, one thing, if you're scared of the language, I can just give you this very simple tip: don't be, because Saxion is really taking care of that and is trying to help you a lot with also learning English. So it should all be fine. Um, well, that is actually it from my side. Grazie mille for your attention. My Italian is not that good, but I at least tried. For more information, also check out our social media. I added it here. There's also from time to time Q&As about certain studies. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed my presentation. And if you have any more questions, just pop them in the chat. Have a nice day.